When in doubt, serve salmon. At least that's my motto when having folks over for dinner for the first time, because it's really easy to make, easy to gussy up with a simple sauce, and always looks impressive.
I like your thinking. And today we're gonna be doing a whole side of salmon.
Ooh.
So it's gonna be super impressive. It'll make a really nice centerpiece for the table.
Nice.
So let's start with something that's not so nice.
What is this?
Did that catch your eye?
Yes, you shouldn't have.
I know. This white stuff is called albumin. It's just a protein, but it can leak out of the fish, and I'm gonna show you how to prevent it.
And it's ugly.
Yeah, so let's
All right, I'm gonna put this over here for now.
get that out of our way. So we have a beautiful whole side of salmon. It's 4 to 5 pounds. The belly fat has been trimmed off. That runs right along here. You want to get a piece that's of even thickness so it'll cook at the same rate. That means you don't want a tail piece. You know how it tapers off at the tail, like it's super thin. That piece would overcook. I want to show you a little trick. Usually when you get a piece of fish like this from the fishmonger, the pin bones have been removed. But you just always want to double check because the last thing you want to do is serve your guests a bone. I like to drape the fish over a bowl like this.
This is very cool.
Yeah, this is a cool, look, one's already poking out here.
I love it.
I don't have my glasses on and I can see that. So if you didn't see them poking out, you just run your fingers along, and any that are still in the fish are gonna pop right out. So you just grab your pliers and pull it right out, nice and clean. See, no one wants to eat that. I actually feel a couple more here. Okay, so let's put this guy back on the tray here. I have a tablespoon of kosher salt. This is going to season the fish, of course. It's also going to hold in moisture, but it's also the key to preventing that albumin from coming out. So we're gonna let this salt in the fridge for 1 to 4 hours. So that fish is way too big to cook in a skillet. So we're gonna be cooking it in the oven, and to get good browning, we'll start it first under the broiler, then we'll turn the oven down nice and low and let it gently finish. Because we're gonna be turning down the oven to bake the fish later, we're starting it at 250. We're letting it preheat, and now I'm gonna turn the oven to broil. And I want the rack 7 inches from the broiler element, and you can see that's just about right. Now let's get going on the fish.
Ooh, it's all glossy after it's been salted.
I know, it's been salting for about an hour now. Water has come to the surface, so we'll just pat it nice and dry. We want really good browning. And as we know, moisture is the enemy of browning. Okay, and now I have a rack set up for the salmon.
I'll say, that is quite a rack setup.
So first I lined it with foil. That'll just make cleanup easier. And then I set a wire rack in here. We want to lift the fish up off of the hot pan so it cooks gently. And then this is a foil sling. It's 18 by 6, and I sprayed it with some vegetable spray. And that'll help me get the salmon off of the sheet in one nice piece. I don't want to break it apart. And there's our beautiful salmon. So now I have some honey, and honey is going to help the fish brown beautifully. We tried just sprinkling the fish with white sugar, and we found that the honey caramelizes a lot faster. It gives just a tiny bit of sweetness, which is really nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the flavor also goes really nicely with salmon.
Oh, it's great.
Now, how much honey is that? Not a lot.
2 tablespoons. This looks great. So now our broiler is going. We're gonna broil it for 8 to 12 minutes, and we're gonna turn it halfway through so it cooks nice and even. All right, let's take a look. It's been under the broiler for about 10 minutes.
Ooh, you can smell it.
Ooh, that looks gorgeous.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, so excited. All right, so now I'm gonna turn down the heat like I talked about. I'm turning it down to 250. We're gonna let this finish cooking for 10 to 15 minutes longer. We want it to hit 125 degrees, and we'll rotate it halfway through cooking. And it's gonna continue to brown as it cooks in there. So if it starts to get too dark, put a little piece of foil over it to protect it.
Makes sense.
While that finishes cooking, let's make a nice arugula pesto. So I have a 1/4 cup of almonds, and I toasted these just for a few minutes in a skillet just to bring out their aroma. So 1/4 cup of those. And then I have 1 serrano chili, and I've removed the ribs and the seeds, but if you want a spicy pesto, you can leave those in, just to kick it up a little bit. 4 cloves of garlic.
Just a little garlic.
Yep. And then I have 4 anchovies here. I rinsed these and patted them dry. All right, so we'll just buzz these here for about 15 seconds. Okay, so that's ready. Now let's add a few more ingredients. I have 6 ounces of arugula.
Now that looks like a lot of arugula.
So you'll see once we buzz this down, it's actually gonna make a relatively small amount of pesto. And arugula is great, it's so peppery. It's gonna go really nicely with the salmon. All right, so there's our arugula. And then I have 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. We usually use basil and pine nuts. We're using arugula and almonds. 1/4 cup of fresh lemon juice. And then 1½ teaspoons of kosher salt.
Really interesting pesto.
Oh, it's so good. And then let this go for about 30 seconds. All right, now that was pretty simple. You can make this a day in advance.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and then you just let it sit at room temperature for 30 minutes before you serve. We'll put this in a nice serving bowl.
That is gorgeous.
Isn't it? So our salmon should be done pretty soon.
Sounds good.
It's been about 10 minutes. Wow, that honey really did its job. It's so gorgeously browned.
Wow. I don't think I've ever cooked a salmon that is that beautiful, that has that amount of browning on the top.
125. Great. So now I'm going to use my handy little foil sling here. I'm going to just slide it right over to the platter. And there it comes. It's been greased, so it's going to slide right off.
Look at that. You can garnish with a little lemon. I love it.
that?
I love it.
But just dresses it up a little bit.
Sure does.
All right, that looks fabulous, if I do say so. Now I'm going to show you how to cut some nice, neat slices for serving. It's actually quite simple. You see this seam that's running down the center of the fillet here? You just want to go with your spatula. I'm using a nice thin metal spatula here. Just going to cut down like that. And then I'm going to hold my spatula sort of at a 45-degree angle. And I'm going to follow along the grain of the fish. And it'll just kind of pull apart. It's very simple. Almost does it for you.
Gorgeous.
Get a nice piece. Okay, there's lemon for you and for
you.
me. Would you like some pesto?
Yes, please.
Nice big spoon of that.
Yeah.
Oh, and isn't that gorgeous?
Oh, I love the colors together. Becky, this looks amazing. I mean, the salmon is perfectly cooked at 125. That little bit of sweetness on the crust, so good.
It's garlicky. You don't taste the anchovy. That just gives a little bit of backbone. The arugula.
Becky, you've outdone yourself. You can invite me for dinner anytime.
I would love to.
So if you want to make a fantastic salmon dinner, salt a 4-pound piece of salmon for an hour, then lay it on a foil sling, set over a wire rack, and brush with honey. Broil the salmon, then turn the oven down to 250 degrees and continue to cook for 10 to 15 minutes longer. Serve with a potent arugula pesto and you're a rock star. From America's Test Kitchen to your kitchen, a great new recipe for roasted whole side of salmon with arugula almond pesto. Definitely making this for company.
Oh, yeah.
It's that pesto.
Oh, I know,
It
right?
just sets it off.
Yeah, it's so good.
Thanks for watching America's Test Kitchen. What'd you think?
Well, leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or you can just say hello.
You can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
I'll see you later.